proceedings relating on tax matters. Again, we listen to the members of the public. We want to give them a chance of a fair hearing when they go to court, and we're not going to allow that those two cases to continue concurrently.
Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 66 be deleted. I put the question that clause 66 be deleted. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Miscellaneous Fees and Levies Act, clause 67.
I propose the question that clause 67 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 67 be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 68.
I propose the question that clause 68 be part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 68 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, this is just a correction of a grammatical error on the bill.
I propose the question that clause 68 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 68 be amended as proposed. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 68 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 69.
I propose that the question that clause 69 part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 69 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, this particular amendment was referencing the railway development levy at 2%, which indeed is, it was referencing the railway development levy as being 2.5%, whereas in the Act it is 2%. So it's more of a cleanup for an error in the reference of the railway development levy.
I propose a question that clause 69 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 69 be amended as proposed. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 69 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 70.
I propose that the question that clause 70 be part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 70 be amended as per the order paper. And essentially this has two particular amendments. One is to clarify the tariff numbers.
Order members, allow the mover to move.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 70 be, I beg that clause 70 be amended as per the order paper. Again, this has two elements. One is a cleanup on the tariff numbers, and the rest, and the other one is to harmonize the export development levy not to be subject to inflation adjustment as at October 2022.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 70 be amended as proposed by the Chairman of the Finance Committee. Honorable Bombadi.
Mr. Chair, I want the chair of the committee to guide me on this, because completely what the suggestion you are making here is to delete the expression of USD 0.5 and substitute with USD 0.55 per kilogram. But looking at the tariffs that we are given, if you go to page 368 of the bill, that, for example, I just want to pick on one. Tariff number 4102.21.0. Kindly, Honorable Didmas Barasa, can you allow the chair to listen to me, because I want him to clarify this point. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm looking at that particular tariff, 4102.21.00, and on page 361, and you will find that it is at USD 0.52 per kilogram. So why are you bringing 0.55 per kilogram? I'm not seeing where you are getting all this 0.55. All along in the tariffs, I can see 0.52. So could you explain exactly what you are trying to do? That's the bit that I don't understand.
Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This particular amendment was later proposed by the National Treasury because the proposal was by the National Treasury following the fluctuations in the exchange rate. So the rate at the rate at which the Kenya shilling was exchanging at the dollar, but the publishing of the bill by the time we were completing the report was different, and that necessitated that change from 0.52 to 0.55.
Very well. Honorable Nyikal, last 1 minute.
Chair, well, we are not tax experts, but what this looks to me on the face of it is actually something is being increased from 0.52 to 0.55. For laymen like me, can it just be explained what is it that is being increased? Because if you come from 0.52 to 0.55, you have increased something.
He has just explained it. No, we cannot go back and forth with Honorable Bombadi. Okay, 30 seconds.
Actually, the difficulty that Honorable Nyikal is going through is simple. Honorable Nyikal is making it better because it's moving from 0.55 to 0.32. So where we had a difference was 0.55 compared to 0.52. But it is falling to 0.32, which is better.
That's great. I now put the question that clause 70 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the committee. Will the member of that opinion say aye? Will the member of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 70 as amended be part of the bill. Will the member of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 71.
I propose the question that clause 71 part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 71 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, this particular amendment is exempting from IDF bioethanol vapor stoves, and it's also exempting from radio development levy those bioethanol vapor stoves. Because again, the Honorable Majority and myself really spoke onto this particular issue. We found a great way of making sure that we reduce the cost of living of Kenyans by making use of the technology of bioethanol, and that we're able to see is that it's able to reduce the cost of preparing a meal for 4 to 10 shillings per meal. That is the cost of preparing that meal. And those stoves only cost 1,520. And if we do this particular incentive, then the cost of fuel and the cost of cooking in our homes will actually go way down than even it is now. With that, I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
I propose the question that clause 71 be amended as proposed. Majority Leader. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, just to, in support of what the Chair is saying, the use of bioethanol stoves, Honorable Speaker, will not only secure the health of our people. Remember, Honorable Speaker, a lot of our people are still using kerosene-based stoves. Others are using charcoal, further degrading our forests, and also putting their lives in danger and their health in danger, Honorable Speaker. And with what the Chair is saying, with stoves that will go for at least a minimum of 1,500 shillings, we'll be able to afford this bioethanol-based stoves to millions of our people whose health now will be better with this. Honorable Speaker, you also see in Part D 16, the mention also of aircraft spare parts. And Honorable Speaker, that is the point I was trying to belabor. That aircraft spare parts is different from the aircraft itself. That aircrafts will still be subjected to taxation, but the spare parts, where we are employing hundreds of our youth, actually thousands of our youth, who have trained in the civil aviation engineering and aeronautical engineering. And Honorable Speaker, it is a fact of life that a number of aircrafts that are registered in this country had now migrated to Uganda and Ethiopia, where they were going for servicing. But now with this lowering of taxes on the aircraft spare parts, these jobs will be secured. Thousands of our youth will be able to maintain their jobs locally. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we also secure. Honorable Junet,
Order,
when he's
members.
going to
Order.
Suna.
Order. The majority we had in silence. Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, you need to protect me from these members here where the Honorable Member for Kilifi is. That is where the noise is coming from, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker was saying, even in terms of aircraft safety, we were putting the lives of our passengers at risk when those who are operating aircrafts have
Honorable members, the point being made by the majority is a very important point that it should be heard in silence. Order, members. Order, members.
Do I say order?
Honorable DK.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
For your protection. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, we were also not only putting the lives of ourselves and those who use aircrafts in danger when we make aircraft spare parts unaffordable to the aircraft operators, because many of them get tempted, and you have seen the number of air crashes around this country, Honorable Speaker, including the Honorable Junet, who during the campaign was fond of using choppers, and he was therefore putting his life in danger. But now, with the reduction of these taxes, Honorable Speaker, we not only secure jobs, but we secure the lives of Kenyans who will now enjoy aircraft services, Honorable Speaker,
Thank you.
without the operators having to worry about the cost of these spare parts. And Honorable Speaker, I beg to support.
Thank you. The Honorable Junet.
Chair, I wish in this amendment we were discussing spares for bicycles. I wish we were discussing spares for bicycles and stoves, borders and such things. How many people in this country, Chair, work in the air industry, for example, in terms of engineers and mechanics? How many people, even the people who work in that sector, do they save any money from the cost of the spares themselves? No, it is saved by the owner of the aircraft, the big men.
Thank
who,
you.
Who own, Chair, who
Allow him. Junet, 30 seconds so that you wind up.
Chair, so I'm saying let us not dwell so much that we are going to employ youths in the helicopter. There are no youths who work in helicopter. Let's be honest to each other. Let's be honest to each other. Just say, I want to buy a helicopter and I want it to be cheap. Then we agree as a house. To, the ones who can afford can go and buy. And I'm told Shungo has one already.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Donde Bodonya.
Thank you. Madam Chair, when Ichungwa was speaking...
I'm surely not Mrs. or Madam.
Yeah, he said that the rich will help the poor. That was his point. Now the poor want to help themselves through the helicopters. We've prioritized sanitary pads in a wrong place in the Ministry of Education instead of giving women wrong priorities placed in wrong place. Nothing is correct.
Thank you. Honorable Mawade. No, you will hear, we will hear Honorable Mawade in silence. Honorable Mawade will be heard.
Nashukuru sana Bwana Mwenyekiti kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia. Ni makosa sana kupunguza bei ya mahelikopta ya matajiri ndio tuweze kuafford, kupunguza taxes za helikopta ya matajiri ndio waweze kununua.
Honorable Mawade, order, Honorable Mawade. Take your seat. What is out of order?
Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, sababu Mheshimiwa Mawade ananena kwa lugha ya Kiswahili, nasimama kwa hoja ya nidhamu, sababu ni vizuri kuwajulisha Wakenya mambo ambayo tunayajadili yaliyomo kwenye hii bill ya finance bill. Nataka Mheshimiwa Mawade atuonyeshe ni wapi kwenye hii bill ushuru ya ndege ya helikopta imetolewa, sababu nimeweza kukariri ya kuwa ushuru unaoshukishwa hasa jambo ambalo tunaongelea saa hii ni kitu ambacho yaitwa kwa lugha ya kimombo miscellaneous levies ambayo unajua Mheshimiwa Mawadhe hajasoma hii bill, haelewi nini iko, anafanya siasa ambayo haina.
Asante.
Mheshimiwa
Mawadhe,
nitarekebisha.
Mheshimiwa Mawadhe, utachangia ukizingatia ukweli wa mambo.
Asante. Wacha nichangie. Na ni makosa, lakini mtu majority ile kuimply ya kwamba kuna mtu ambaye anasema mambo ya uongo. Hamna mambo ya uongo hapa. Tunapunguza bei ya spare parts za helicopter ndio matajiri waweze ku afford. Lakini tunaongeza petroli.
Thank you. The Honorable Ruto. No, let me also do this side. It can only be this side, really. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I want to be as...
Honorable Mboka, just hold. What's out of order?
This KK government...
What is out of order?
Is totally out of order. Chairman, just listen to me.
Go ahead.
This KK government is totally out of order by proposing to tax spare parts of helicopters and at the same time proposing to tax Mama Mboga, bring the women of Chamas in tax bracket.
What is out of order?
I want to observe, Honorable
What
Chair,
is out of order?
I want to observe that KK government is totally out of order.
What is out of order?
By trying to protect the
you can proceed to your point. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for according me the opportunity. I also rise to support this particular amendment to the clause, and in the sense that we are not in our own world. We are in a world that we appreciate the fact that air transport is gaining momentum within the region, and it is the responsibility of each and every administration to come up with a policy that is going to sort out problems of youth, lack of employment, and therefore reducing the tax is not meant but...
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 71 be amended as proposed. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 71 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 72.
I propose the question that clause 72 be part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I move that clause 72 be amended as per the order paper. This particular clause, Honorable Chair, is affecting the third schedule, where we're introducing an export development levy on particular products, that is cement clinker, and proposing an increase of that to 70%.
Order members, the members behind the chairperson, the members behind the Honorable McClap, please take your seat. Allow the chair to hear himself. Allow the chair to hear himself, honorable members. Proceed.
Thank you. Thank you for your protection, Chair. I could hardly hear myself, so I beg to move that clause.
Allow the chair to move, then you'll have the chance. Go ahead.
I beg to move that clause 72 be amended as per the order paper. And here, Honorable Speaker, these are some of the measures that are proposed in the bill to incentivize our local manufacturers and to make sure that the consumption of goods that we consume in this particular country are manufactured in Kenya and not relying on imports. Because remember, again, these imports have had a strain on the exchange rate and they have really affected our exchange rate. So this is proposing an export levy of cement clinker at 17.5%, semi-finished products of iron and non-alloy at 17.5%, bars and steel hot-rolled iron to 17.5%, bars, rolls, and iron and non-alloy steel hot-rolled in regular wounded coils of circular cross-section to 17.5%, and that I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I propose a question that clause 72 be amended as proposed. The Honorable Mbui.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to oppose that proposed amendment because it is actually continuing to increase the levies on importation of these materials, Mr. Chair, that are supposed to be used in the program that they have been marketing to Kenyans of affordable housing. Because the minute you increase tax on cement clinker, on cement, on steel bars, on iron bars, then it means that the input into construction will go up. So what is the purpose of these extra levies? So, Mr. Speaker, I oppose. If they want us to do affordable housing, they must do everything they can to bring down the cost of raw materials for construction industry.
Thank you. The Honorable Shepkonga. Honorable Shepkonga, you have only 1 minute.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have very important information.
Go ahead.
Very important. Mr. Speaker, I support this imposition of that tax. Mr. Speaker, you may not be aware, East African Portland Cement was a net exporter of clinker. As a result of clinker being brought out of the country, it killed many of the transporters, which included myself, Mr. Speaker. I was a serious transporter of East African Portland Cement. When they imported clinker, the small transporters like myself were wiped out. So the reason why we want this tax, Mr. Speaker, is so that East African Portland Cement can go back to where it was before. This is our own company. It used to export this to other countries, including Uganda, and we used to transport them to Uganda, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
We cannot allow clinker from India.
Thank you.
We can produce them here, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
Honorable Baya.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to support the amendments. One, Kilifi County is one county that is blessed with all the materials to make clinker. It is an industry that we must grow. We must have factories and industries that produce clinker in this country. The short term might hurt, but the long term is good for the country to create jobs and actually to save on foreign exchange for this country.
Thank you.
Secondly, on the steel industry, we need to have steel industries in this country. We must stop importing steel from other countries. While we have iron ore in Taita Taveta and other parts of this country that are enough to make enough steel for the construction industry. So we are not killing the construction industry. We have ability in this country to ensure we have.
Honorable Nyamai. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. I support this amendment, Honorable Chair, because it is going to give an opportunity to our companies to manufacture steel using iron ore from our own counties. Honorable Chair, we have iron ore in Kitui, in Kwale, and in so many other parts of this country. Iron ore from our own counties. Honorable Chair, we have iron ore in Kitui, in Kwale, and in so many other parts of this country. And also we would like this clinker to be manufactured here so that our young people can have jobs. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Only Batandi, lastly.
Chair, I oppose the amendment. Chair, Kenya Kwanza is good in making promises. They can promise you anything. I want to ask Honorable Owen Baya, you are talking about a factory in Kilifi. When are you opening that factory? We are just talking here.
Thank you.
We don't need empty promises.
Thank you, Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this particular amendment. Honorable Speaker, it is true, and it's good to be honest with the people of Kenya. that these levies will discourage importation of steel products for a good reason, Honorable Speaker. And it is also not true that it will hurt the housing industry, Honorable Speaker, because in the long run, when we are producing our own steel from our own raw materials, Honorable Speaker, and Honorable Speaker, let me just say, we need to understand, and those who took time to read the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto will see that among us the value chains that we want to rebuild our economy on is the value chain of mining and that of manufacturing and, of course, housing, Honorable Speaker. The production of steel from iron ore, the member for Wundanyi who is here will tell you Kishushe in Wundanyi in Taita Taveta, they are producing iron ore. But we could not exploit that mineral resource and use it locally, Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of the people of Wundanyi. And I would really have wanted you, Honorable Speaker, to give the member of Wundanyi an opportunity to be heard. For us and the people of Wundanyi to hear their member of parliament support the exploitation of the resource of iron ore and tell the people of Wundanyi whether...
Thank you. Thank you. The Honorable Tiende.
Thank you.
Where is the member for Wundanyi? Where is the member for Wundanyi? Is in the house.
Mr. Chairman, in terms of contribution, I'll contribute to the next, but I raised it as a point of order because I wanted the chair to listen and is not listening, because I'd like him to make a clarification.
Chair Finance Committee, you're being asked to listen.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, by law, we are allowed to get anonymous tips. And I got an anonymous tip on this particular clause, alleging that contrary to Article 210, that does not allow either an imposition of tax or a waiver of tax to benefit an individual, that the framing of this particular clause may have been framed to benefit one particular steel mill. And allegedly, and that's why it's not an allegation, I am asking, but I've not said anyone. Why is the majority leader very worried? I am asking it as a question. Why is the majority leader jittery? I am asking the chairman to assure me that this is not tailor-made to benefit or disadvantage one particular person. And I've not even mentioned the name, and the majority leader is jittery, and I'm wondering why.
Thank you, Honorable Tiende.
Thank you. I have not mentioned any...
Majority leader. Majority leader.
Chair, you know, Honorable Chair, and I have a lot of respect for Senior Counsel Otiende Omolo, or is it Atiende Omolo, or Otiende Omolo Atiende?
It is the Honorable Otiende Amolo.
Otiende Amolo.
Yes.
And he knows what he's doing, Honorable Speaker. Insinuating improper motive on the chair and members of the Finance Committee. Because unless Honorable Chair, the Honorable Otiende Amolo is able to substantiate what the chair or members of the Finance Committee, you know, you can also ask a question that is leading. And Honorable Speaker, you know members, the chair. Order. If you allow me, Senior Counsel, the chair is neither the author of this bill. The committee listened to hundreds of people, Honorable Speaker, on the question of these steel issues. And there is, unless Otiende Amolo is able to name a particular person, because he says he has a tip, it is only fair to the House and the people of Kenya, if you have information of someone you're able to name and substantiate, and of course, adduce evidence before the House without imputing improper motive either on the chair, the members of the committee, including members in Azimio who sat in that committee for long hours, or even any business people in the country. Shakahola.
No, thank you. I will give this chance to the minority leader, then the chair will finalize on this matter. The Honorable Tiende, let me just say this before you say what you want to say. I want to rule the Honorable Tiende is entitled to his opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion, and I want to rule that way. He will keep his opinion the way he said it. Minority leader.
Chair, I would want to oppose this amendment, and for the good reason. You don't put the cart before the horse. If you want to develop the steel industry in the country, develop it first before you block the importation, or before you frustrate the importation of the raw material. That is basic common sense. But more importantly, we need to, I'm not sure the committee is involved in this in any way, but I think this move will end up advantaging particular players. It might not have been the intention of the committee, but it will, if passed in the manner it is coached, we are likely to create a monopoly in the steel industry and in the cement industry. I can tell you, when I chaired the PAC in the last parliament, I had an encounter with these factories when they were failing to pay the settlement levy and so on and so forth. And this is, in my view, Chair, a perfect case of state capture. Case of state capture. There is a player in the cement industry, for sure. Mombasa Cement, Devki, these are the people moving. I don't want to go beyond that. I told you from the word go that my position allows me to access privileged information. I have got much more information about this that you may want to benefit from, Majority Leader, if you have time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chairperson of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. The sentiments that have been raised on this floor, and I think the question was referred to myself and my committee by the Honorable Atendi Amolo. So when this particular matter was brought to our attention, we did ask ourselves first, this introduction of this export duty on particular products, what criteria was used to identify those particular products? And we were furnished, Honorable Chair, with information that included an advertisement made on the local dailies of public participation that was carried out by the Ministry of Trade and Industries. So the Ministry of Trade and Industries went and called all those particular players. They had a conversation about this export development levy. Of course, there were disagreements, because when people want to continue importing things that can be made locally, Honorable Chair, then they do not want to have those things manufactured locally. And so we did the best interest of the committee and the best interest of this particular country, and realized that actually this was the right thing to do. There is capacity, there is local capacity. Honorable Chapukonga has rightly put, a few years ago he used to be in the business of transporting cement. We used to be an exporter of cement. But with time, we allow these cheap imports into our country that have completely crippled our manufacturers. So we are saying, if we want to import, fine, pay 17.5%, but let the local manufacturers that have capacity, that are employing our people, actually get to benefit from this.
All these are Kenyans. I now want to put the question that clause 72 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 72 as amended be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 66A.
Mover. 66A, mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that a new clause 66A be read for a second time.
I propose the question that the new clause 66A be now read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 66A now be read a second time. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 66A be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 66A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Miscellaneous, clauses 73, 74, and 75.
I propose that clauses 73, 74, and 75 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 73, 74, and 75 be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 76.
I propose the question that clause 76 be part of that of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 76 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, some of the proposed amendments to this particular clause, there was one proposal by Honorable Caleb Mule, the Member of Parliament for Machakos Town Constituency. And after consultation, we agreed
The Honorable Chair, just take your seat. Just resume your seat for direction. There's some small direction. Resume your seat. The Honorable Members, there is a proposal for amendment by the Honorable Amisi. I don't know if he's in the House. The Honorable Amisi. The Honorable Amisi. If he's not there, then his amendment is dropped. The Honorable Watch.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And I rise to propose an amendment that clause 76 of the bill be dropped entirely. Mr. Chair, the reasons for this is that, number one, the entire question of housing has been a moving goalpost by this particular government. It started off as a tax, mutated into a levy. At some point, it changed into a saving. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at Honorable Chair, in terms of the hierarchy of needs of what the people of Kenya, what the hustlers of this nation, what the people in my constituency considered to be the most important needs, number one would be the question of education. It would also be in para-material or on the same platform as the cost of living. This government ought to put its resources and time in bringing down the cost of living as opposed to putting a tax on people who are already overtaxed with 16% fuel, already overtaxed with many other things, as to decrease the tax on helicopter parts and other things. So my proposal, Honorable Chair, is to have this amendment completely deleted from the clause and let the government allow the county governments, whose role it is under Schedule 4 of the Constitution, to be able to carry out the issue of affordable housing. And if the government must collect a tax, which they can do by having a 1% or 2% increase on VAT as they have done, a 1% increase on pay as they have done, and then give the county government a conditional grant to do the housing within the counties. Honorable Chair, this particular tax is punitive, it is excessive, it is unnecessary, and it is completely out of turn with the taxpayer and the hustler on whose backs this government rode on their heads. I ask that we agree to amend this clause to drop clause 76 in its entirety. Thank you.
I want to propose the... I propose the question that clause 76 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Watch. No, members, no. On this one, I will disagree with all of you. This is a very controversial clause. Allow members to bend themselves a bit, please. I wanted to guide the House this way. I want to guide the House on this matter this way, that we have 7 amendments with the same import. Delete. Same import. So we have to decide whether we want to vote on every amendment on its own or all of them together. The effect of this, the effect of these amendments is the same. They all seek to delete. So we need to agree on how we want to proceed on that one, so that the Honorable Tiende.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, my humble suggestion is that no matter the argument, if the amendment has the same effect, they be treated together. But my suggestion is consistent with the earlier practice, with the earlier clauses. Because the chair himself has proposed amendments, I was suggesting, Chair, that you allow the chair to propose his amendments, then you allow everyone who has proposed deletion and even who has not proposed but want to speak to it before we come to the voting. With that way we save time and we are consistent and everybody gets to speak. That's my humble suggestion.
Kaluma.
I thank you, Chair. Chair, what happens when there are several similar amendments is that whichever of the similar amendment is taken collapses the others. What then happens, Chair, is that because people who are seeking to make those amendments have positions to deliberate on before the House, everybody who had those amendments are allowed to speak to the matter. So I would say if just as myself, so many of us are proposing deletion as Honorable Oluoch, then grant us the opportunity, not moving again because the effect of how we treat Oluoch will be the same, but to make our comments to persuade the House on those similar amendments.
Honorable Kaluma, proceed to have the first bite on this matter.
I thank you. I thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I support the amendment brought by Honorable Oluoch. I brought a similar amendment also seeking to delete clause 76. And Honorable Chair, for 2 reasons. Number 1, the national government deals with housing policy under the 4th schedule. The matter of provision of housing, the matter of provision of housing or housing as a function lies with the county government, so that it is not for the national government, whether we hide it in a finance bill or otherwise, to deal with matter housing. And I'm saying this, that these matters which the court can pick on in future, to stifle all these measures, we clear them out. Even if we passed this, honorable members, the court will pick it and say it is not a function for the national government. But secondly, Honorable Chair, I hear it is now moving from the housing levy, which was here, to something called tax. How would you make it a tax? It just does not make sense. So I would urge that we agree with Honorable Oluoch, we delete this, and we save whatever we have pulled through instead of having this thing stopped by the courts.
Thank you. The Honorable Nyikal.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I'm going to give members who have amendments first, then when we will proceed from there.
Thank you, Chair. I also support Honorable Oluoch's amendment, which means mine then falls because they're the same. But, Chairman, Mr. Speaker, my issue with this thing is we are going to create a huge fund. As it is now, no structure has been put in place. We don't even know how that structure has been put in place. In this country, we have, wherever we have had huge funds, even with structures, these funds have not worked. Look at NHIF. Today we have NHIF, which is structured, a huge amount of money. People are not getting treated, and it is there. How can we be sure that this one, without structures even at this point, will actually work? Look at NSSF. NSSF is, in fact, I would have thought that we would improve NSSF and use that money in NSSF to actually develop housing. Which now, if you look at NSSF, that money is actually used to buy houses and even land, but not for the pensioners. All of us here, show me one old man who is actually living well because he's using the NSSF money that he has put aside. All that money has gone to cartels. Similarly, we are now putting this, and we are not quite sure, even the structure does not indicate who is going to own these houses. If you do not own the houses, what happens to the money you have put there? You cannot put a tax between a tax and a levy, and what happens is you do not know where that money is going.
Thank you.
It may be a good principle, but let us not implement it at this time. Put it in straight. This is just money for cartels. We are going to put, they are going to use it.
Thank you. The Honorable Makali.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
You got 90 seconds.
Honorable Chair had also proposed to delete this clause, and the reason is, Honorable Chair, if there is any matter which has been debated by Kenyans in this bill, it is actually the housing levy. A lot of our Kenyans are even thinking the finance bill is equal to the housing levy. And because of that, Honorable Chair, a lot of things have been said by Kenyans. I just want to single a few. There has been a general agreement, Honorable Chair, that there is demand for housing in this country, and we need to construct houses. But what Kenyans have not been very comfortable with is the approach and the strategy of implementing this important activity. The first one, Honorable Chair, what has come out is the issue of the legal framework to ensure that when I contribute, at the end of the day, I'll get money. That's the reason why it has been now changed to become a levy, so that once you pay and forget about it. The second issue, Honorable Chair, was the issue of how many Kenyans will benefit out of this levy, and those who are contributing, in case they don't benefit, how do they get their money back? That had been sorted now by the issue. So what we are saying is, this housing levy, the way it is being implemented, Kenyans are not comfortable with it. And that's why we were saying, while there is need for housing in this country, the approach is wrong. And it's on the basis of that we are saying, we delete it from this finance bill, maybe.
Thank you, the Honorable Wundo. We got members who have amendments.
Chair,
the first bite on this.
Chair, I had an amendment similarly, and Chair, mine was premised on the following: that Article 43 of the Constitution provides that the government state organs shall provide housing, adequate housing. And it goes again on 4th schedule, section 2, number 8, that's donated to the county government. So honestly speaking, what we are doing here, this is an illegality, it's unconstitutional, as far as it goes, as far as it's concerned. Secondly, Honorable Chair, from even a housing economic point of view, even from a policy prescription, this is a wrong approach, Honorable Speaker, that's not going to yield anything. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to urge the committee to drop this for unconstitutionality and purely a flawed way of thinking that you can solve housing in this country by this kind of approach.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I oppose the amendment.
Members, I still have Honorable Mbui and Honorable Basil for amendments before I move to anybody else. The Honorable Mbui.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, first let me address the lies that have been told about this program. First lie was that they were saying that the people who will be deducted are those that work for government. Members of parliament, MCAs, I don't know, teachers. It is not the truth. The truth is they want to deduct every employee, every hustler working for any company in this country. Second lie, Mr. Speaker, is that they are saying they want to provide employment. Mr. Speaker, not all our children work in the construction industry. Not all our children are masons, plumbers, or electricians, or casual laborers. Some of our children are doctors. How will you provide employment for doctors in this industry? And finally, Mr. Speaker, they must listen. We must listen to the 93% Kenyans who said they do not want this housing program because it reduces our disposable income, because NHIF has gone up, NSSF has gone up, pay-as-you-earn has gone up. How much do you want to hurt Kenyans?
Thank you.
Let us be fair, and VAT has also gone up. Mr. Speaker, let us agree and get rid of this animal called the housing levy.
Thank you. The Honorable Basil.
Come first before you go to housing. Number two, if you want really to give affordable housing, remove tax on timber, remove tax on steel, remove tax on iron sheets, and the people will build houses the way they want, and also employment will be generated because there'll be mushrooming of construction. This particular, when it comes to housing, is devolved. So this discussion should be held in Senate. And since the bill cannot go to the Senate, then the only option we have is to delete it. And that's the key reason we want it deleted and removed from the bill. Thank you, and I submit my amendment.
The Honorable Minority Whip.
Chair, no. Chair, I will stand to oppose this clause. Chair, first we have just raised taxes.
Just a minute. Honorable Junet, what we are now debating is the deletion as proposed by Honorable.
I want to support them, yeah. Okay. I want to support the amendments by all the 7 members of deletion. Chair, we have just raised taxes that of salaries to 35%. People who are earning over 800,000. You are telling them to pay 3% again of housing levy. You are telling them to pay 2.5% of NSSF, your NHIF. So in the end, that person is going to pay 40% of his salary to taxes, Mr. Chair. Secondly, Chair, and the majority leader is here. This reminds me, this housing levy reminds me of something. That one time in this house, we passed another levy called Railway Development Levy. When it was brought here, under a finance bill like this one, we were told this is a levy that is going to be very good, and we are going to use it to pay back the loans that we have taken from China for the SGR. 3 years later, an amendment was brought here by a majority leader like Honorable Ishungwa. And he said, now, we need to open up this fund for any use, for anything. You know? And we told him how. We just passed it here that this levy is for paying the loan of the SGR. How did it end up becoming now a money for everything and everywhere? Chair, we are going through the same route. You know, what goes round comes round. The way things change, the way they're the same. Chair, what is going to happen is, this is money that is going to be collected in the name of housing, but it's going to be used for other things.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Tiende had an issue on this.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I support the deletion, and I want my colleagues to listen to me, because there's a point that we've made before, and Honorable Kaluma made it. You might think that you are defeating it by numbers. But if you really want the entirety of the finance bill, drop this housing levy. If you want the entirety to fail on this account, stick to it. Because it's clearly unconstitutional. And any lawyer on your side, I am not asking, I am telling you, any lawyer on your side will tell you that if you look at Schedule 4, housing is not a function of national government. You cannot raise a levy or a tax on something that is not your function. It's as simple as that. But that's just general advice.
Thank you.
Now let me come to the debate.
You got 1 minute to wind up.
First of all, there is no framework. And without a proper legal framework, this becomes a Ponzi scheme. None of you know now how the Sahasla scheme is being run. That is how this will go. Secondly, there's ultimate confusion in terms of affordable housing and affordable ownership. It uses both interchangeably. It's not the same. Affordable housing is where the house is owned by government and anybody can rent cheaply. Affordable ownership is where you own. Our very scheme of society, Osoro, does not allow you to go and own some 8th floor in Kisii town instead of your home, in your village. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, this amounts to slavery and servitude under Article 30. Slavery and servitude is where you are being told you must pay this tax, but there is no obvious way in which you will benefit. That is slavery and servitude is unconstitutional. Thank you very much.
I mean, I've just had 8 from this side. Let's hear the other side too. We've just had 8 this side. The Honorable John Angeno. No, order. I've just had 8 from this side. Let's hear this side too. Go ahead. You got the mic?
Thank you, Speaker. I think, Mr. Speaker, I just want to assure the House and the nation that this is a very serious project, Mr. Speaker, and we need to support it 100%. Speaker, as to whether this issue is unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, Article 43 of the Constitution demands from the government to provide housing to the citizens. Mr. Speaker, shelter, accessible housing, and houses that they can access, even clean toilets and everything, Mr. Speaker. So that one is a constitutional provision. Number two, Speaker, if this housing, you know, when you listen to every member in this house, Mr. Speaker, every member speaks to the fact that there are so many slums in either constituencies they come from, in areas they come from. People talk about informal houses. People talk about slums. People talk about the houses where police live. People talk about the houses where prisoners, and I mean prison warders live. Mr. Speaker, the conditions of those particular houses are deplorable. How do we sort out these problems? Speaker, these houses, the affordable houses, this particular part of the bill is speaking to, does not only go to those people who want to rent houses, it also goes to those people who want to own houses. It also goes to those people who work for this government. It also goes to those people who are also business people. Mr. Speaker, how is the implementation of this particular...
Thank you. I want you to wind up.
How is the implementation? I've heard members talking about the implementation.
1 minute to wind up.
There is no law. Speaker, there is what we call the National Housing Development Fund in place. There is also what we call the National Housing Corporation in place. The question of implementation of this particular fund, Mr. Speaker, was actually passed in this House. So, Mr. Speaker, nobody should state or claim that maybe when this money is collected, where does it go? It has a custodial authority that where this money will be in the name. Mr. Speaker, we have also ensured that this money is ring-fenced so that in the event, even when the government lacks any other fund, it cannot access this particular fund.
Thank you. The Honorable Murugara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, let nobody say what we are doing is unconstitutional, that the courts are going to annul. I'm sorry, that is an argument. We will also argue for the retention of what we are doing. Number one, shelter is a fundamental right. And the government is obligated to provide shelter. When you talk about, let's start. As far as the Constitution is concerned, housing policy is under the national government. And you look at your Constitution. The housing policy is under the national government. What the county government has is, development, planning,
Honorable Member, just a minute. You know, Honorable Mbadi, it's
development.
Honorable Murugara, 1 minute.
Yes.
Honorable Mbadi, it's baffling that when I gave you a chance to speak, this side was silent throughout. I never had anybody interrupting. I would request that we also hear them in silence. It's just important that happens. Go ahead.
Yes. So the housing policy is under the national government. Planning and development, including housing, is under county governments. Housing policy includes how the government is going to plan to provide houses. And one such plan is actually the levy, so that we are able to build houses in a consultation and with the planning of the county governments. So for anybody to argue that if we pass this, it's going to be annulled by the courts, that's a fallacy. It's an argument just the way I will also go to court to argue that we have to retain whatever has been done. Therefore, there is nothing unconstitutional with what we are doing.
Thank you. Honorable Hillary.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I want to support the housing levy as moved by the finance chair. And Mr. Chair, and to oppose the amendments that have been raised by members over there. And Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by begging the members on the other side. 80% of Kenyans living in slums and informal settlements come from their constituencies. Mr. Chair, 20% of the others are only shared by the rest of us. There is no time, Chair.
The Honorable Minority Leader, what's out of order? Minority Whip, what's out of order?
Mr. Chair.
What is out of order?
Chair. Honorable Chair, is it in order for Honorable member from Kipkelio to insinuate that 80% of Kenyans who live in slums are from Azimio and are from our constituency?
Yes.
From where, Chair, and especially,
Honorable.
and especially where the chair comes from. Honorable chair, the chair himself. Chair. Is it in order?
The member for Kipkelion.
Can I proceed, Chair?
The order members. The member for Kipkelion. I would advise that you are on the side of the truth.
Yes.
Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I want to say, secondly, Chair, that this housing...
maybe you didn't get me. I mean, here, when I say I mean, try to move towards the truth. Not R, but error, as it were. So go towards the truth, not double down on the lie.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
I was going to say that even the presidential candidate they supported was having this program word by word, the same way we are presenting it. And it beats logic, Chair, that they oppose programs that are coming to their area, including taxes on imported fish from China to protect their people. Have mercy on your people. Thank you, Chair.
What's the name of this guy? The Honorable Mbadi, what's out of order?
Mr. Chairman, you know, in this house, again, I want to repeat, this is a house of records, and we need to speak facts. And when you have no information about something, you don't talk. When we were debating the issue of fish, the Honorable Member for Kipkelion was not here. Our people eat a lot of fish, double what is being produced. We want fish even from China because we want to eat.
You.
And by the way, Kipkelion has so many...
Thank you. Honorable Mengich, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a very important topic that we are discussing right now, and I'm surprised by the words mentioned by the Member of Parliament, Robert Mbui, the Kathiani MP, when he mentioned that their kids are doctors, I don't know, astronauts, and they are not engineers. Yet, as a construction manager, Mr. Speaker, being involved in the construction industry, there are so many parties involved in construction, including engineers, plumbers. So the kind of job creation that will be created in this, once this project is successful, is enormous. So that is why we support the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable KJ Kerry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I would, Chair, it is not in my place to request the House to at least be attentive to the debate, because this is a critical matter that we are debating. In fact, this is a core clause in the finance bill. Mr. Speaker, there are two reasons why I support this clause. Reason number one is that as much as the argument is being forwarded that it is not the function of the national government to build houses, it is also true that it is the national government that gives policy on housing. And Mr. Speaker, the issue that is at the fore here is not just about housing, Mr. Speaker. If they took time to read the proposal, they would find out that it goes beyond just housing, Mr. Speaker. There are three cases that I can mention that speak to three constituencies in this House. The Dagoretti South artisans who work along Gong Road partnered with artisans from Starehe and artisans from Kamkunji to pilot the first 1,000 houses that were constructed in Park Road. And these artisans, three groups of artisans, netted total 122 million Kenya shillings that went to the pocket of hustlers who only constructed doors and windows.
Thank you.
So
thank you. The Honorable Mutunga. Definitely.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. Chair, I just want to pose two questions. The first question is, I would like to know that Kenyan who is unemployed today and looking for a job, who would get an opportunity to get a job and we ask them to pay 10% or 15% of their salary, and they say no. I would like to have one. Secondly, on our chair, we are looking at the entire country. We are a country which has no houses. We need to build these houses so that you can bring the cost down, increase the numbers and bring the cost down.
Thank you.
These are people who can be able to be assisted in this process.
The Honorable Kalasinga.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, my amendment, my Chair, was coming also in same, but now it was about making this scheme voluntary. But now that I've seen this one, Mr. Chair, I also want to agree that now I have a question. If this scheme has to go on as it is, then my question is here. What becomes of people who are almost getting retiring, who are 55 years? How long will they pay, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman, I have a question on people with very slim pay slips. Some people have as less as 500 shillings on their pay slips. Mr. Chair, when you pay 1,000 shillings per month, this will, by simple calculation, tell me you will pay for 125 years so that you attain this house.
Thank you. The Honorable Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Mwenyekiti, na mimi naweza kuunga mkono hawa ndugu zangu waheshimiwa waliosema kuwa tuipuzilie mbali na tutupilie mbali hicho kipengo cha kuweza kulipisha wafanyikazi pesa ya ujenzi wa nyumba. Mimi nataka niseme hivi Mheshimiwa, kuwa wafanyikazi wengi wa Kenya wamechukua madeni.
Just a minute. Honorable members, it's just not right to keep shouting at me when another member is on our feet. I can't hear them. Let's just keep our cool. It's our house, it's our debate. When one person is speaking, allow them to contribute. I also want to hear what she's saying. Go ahead.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa. Wafanyakazi wengi, ukiangalia walimu, hata hawa mapolisi wamechukua pesa kwa deni, wameenda kujenga nyumba. Leo unasema katika pesa zao za mshahara wanakatwa tena pesa ya kwenda kujenga nyumba. Mimi nataka niulize, yule mwalimu ambaye yuko Mombasa, nyumba za jengwa Nairobi, atahama vipi Mombasa wakati amejiestablish kule Mombasa haja akae Nairobi? Huu ni wizi wa dhahiri. Waheshimiwa, mimi nataka niwaelezee, tupanue akili zetu, tufungue akili zetu, tusiwe tunasukumwa kama mteremko, tuwe viongozi ambao sisi tunawaza. Sio kila kitu sisi tunakubali, huyu anapiga huku tax, anachukua na huku, anatolea na huku, na sisi hapa tunagonga miguu tukisema ai. Wakenya wamechoka, Wakenya wamechoka. Huu ni wizi wa dhahiri. Sisi hatutaki watu kujengewa nyumba, tunataka watu wapewe kazi.
Thank you. Now 30 seconds each. Babu Wino, 30 seconds. Honorable Babu Wino. Use that one next to you.
Chair, please. Before I proceed, I would like you to just give me 2 minutes only, because 30 seconds I will not prosecute whatever I want to say. Chairman, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to educate my fellow members of parliament on this matter. In matters economics, number one, Chair, there are 3 types of goods. Number one, we have what we call the private goods. And in private goods, Mr. Speaker, in private goods, these are goods which are consumed by one party at a time. Example is housing, and another example of the private goods is cell phone and even a dinner. Then there is public goods, Mr. Speaker. Public goods are goods like roads and air, clean environment and air. Please, let me prosecute it. I'm not violent on this because I want it to stick in your mind. Number 3, we have merit goods. The merit goods are goods which must be encouraged by the government to consume, which are education and health. Therefore, on the matters of private goods, Mr. Speaker, it is not the role of the government to provide such goods like housing to its citizens. Mr. Speaker, we are being told that the main aim of the housing, providing houses is to eradicate slums. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you the truth, that if we encourage provision of houses in urban centers, Mr. Speaker, more slums will sprout. We will create what we call in economics the dual economy, where we have the rural economy and the urban economy. Therefore, there will be high crime rate because people will be moving from the rural areas to urban areas with the intention of getting houses. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, the best way to treat this housing menace is simple, Mr. Speaker. Let the government come up with proper infrastructure. For example, construction of electric rails, where we will have electric trains, where a person in Kisumu can board an electric train.
Thank you.
Work in.
Thank you. The Honorable Mishimbogo.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, pia mimi naunga mkono viongozi ambao wamekataa ushuru kwa mambo ya kujenga ujenzi wa manyumba. Nataka niseme wafanyikazi wa umma kwa miaka mingi hawajaongezwa mishahara. Kwanza tungefikiria tatizo hilo la kuongeza mishahara kwa wafanyikazi wa umma, ndiposa tuweze kutoa ushuru katika zile pesa zao. Pesa za Wakenya zimekuwa zinatozwa ushuru tofauti tofauti, mpaka mtu akipata ile pesa yake anaona hakuna pesa ambayo amepata. Swali ni kwamba ikiwa mimi na mume wangu sote ni wafanyikazi wa umma na tunakatwa hizo pesa za mambo ya nyumba, je, sisi tunataka nyumba mbili? Je, tumeulizwa kama tutapenda nyumba moja ama tutataka nyumba mbili?
Honorable Alice Nganga. Honorable Alice Nganga.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, where I come from my constituency, I have a slum called Kiandutu, and I would want the Kiandutu people to have decent housing. Chair, once you give those people, we used to be told the three basic needs is food, clothes, and shelter. We are giving these people proper shelter. And Chair, I know the other side, they don't want us to give these slum people decent shelter, so that when the campaign period comes, they want these people all the time to keep on clapping for them when they are poor and they're in a poor state. We need to give these people the dignity they deserve. They want Kibera to remain Kibera so that they can find a place where they'll be campaigning all the time, because those people are vulnerable. It's a high time as a nation we say enough is enough and we give every Kenya a decent housing project.
Thank you.
They have to live with that.
Thank you. Honorable Nyoro.
Honorable Chair, mine is on procedure, and I request you that you rule, because Honorable Chair, we've been listening to the several amendments in terms of deletion. My request to you, Chair, is that then you allow the Chair for Finance to put forth his amendments, and therefore, Chair, when we vote to the Chair's amendment, then automatically, as Honorable Karuma had suggested, then the rest falls, Honorable Chair. That is my request, Honorable Chair.
The honorable members, the order. The consequence of the Honorable Lord's amendment is that if it is passed, then the matter ends there. There's nothing to talk about. And that's why you have to spend it. I want that to be understood very well. And I want us to be procedural. That order, members, order. We had 8 amendments with the same effect, deleting. And we have allowed members to ventilate on this matter. I'm going to give the last 2 to the leaders, both sides, leaders, not members anymore, leaders, and then we proceed to division. The Honorable Njoki Irene.
Thank you, Chair. It is very ironical when we sit here as members of parliament, we are getting loans of 3%, yet we don't want the normal hustler to get a loan of 3%. It is shameful, very, very shameful. It is very shameful when we, as members of parliament, we have hustlers in our constituencies. We don't want them to pay mortgages of 5,000 shillings where they can afford. We want them to pay mortgages of 15,000 shillings. I tell our people, please let your people benefit. And I, from Bahati constituency, as the main beneficiary in Bahati, where I don't even own a bank in Bahati, I will support this because my people will get jobs, we shall be able to get businesses, and we shall be able to generate income, and income will revolve around my constituency and other constituencies.
Thank you. Thank you. This chance now goes Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Chair, let me just say a few things. First and foremost, Chair, as I've said before, this housing levy or tax, in my view, is the mother of all scandals in this finance bill. If you ask me, there are very many other scandals in this bill, but this is the mother of all scandals. Mr. Chair, and I also want to state this, that this housing levy is akin to a pyramid scheme. Because as we speak, without the infrastructure, without the mechanisms, without the framework for administering it, we are basically throwing good money after bad money. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, let me say this. I am sure the average age of members of parliament in this house is about 40 years or so. Let me ask you, say 50. Let me ask you, for the time you have lived on this earth, in your village, who have you ever heard that has died because of lack of house or shelter? Who has died in your village for lack of a house? I can tell you, the majority of the people who have died in the villages have died because of hunger, lack of food. I can tell you, who did this survey or research to come up with this need for houses for Kenyans? Who asked you for houses? Who asked you? Why are you addressing a problem that is not there? Why can't you deal with the problem which is there, which is lack of food, Mr. Chairman? Why? Why are you insisting? Why are you insisting on providing a house to somebody who is starving? Mr. Chair, it is unbelievable that we want to tax Kenyans. In fact, this animal has continued to mutate. It was initially a fund, it became a saving, it became a circle, it became a finality, now it is a tax. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, this animal, this mongrel called housing...
Thank you. Add in 1 minute, I agree.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very, very much for that indulgence. Yes. And therefore, really, if we want to save Kenyans, let us not indulge in this kind of scandalous adventure. We cannot afford to get into this kind of scandalous adventure when Kenyans are dying of hunger. Deal with the immediate problem, which is to address the issue of lack of food.
Thank you. The Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the Leader of Minority. We need to deal with the scandalous adventure of millions of Kenyans living in slums. We need to deal with the scandalous adventure of millions of Kenyans going without food. And he has asked us very pertinent questions. Why are we worrying about shelter and not food? We are worrying about shelter and food at the same time. The reason why we have no food, why we are food insecure in this country today, is because millions of acres of land in Kiambu County, Nakuru, in Karachuonyo constituency, in Narok, all over the country, where people are farming, we have disintegrated all that land to build slums in this country today. That is why we are food insecure today, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will beg for your protection, as I protected the Leader of Minority, from members of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. Honorable Speaker, we are being told by the minority whip that, like the railway development levy, this housing levy, probably speculating that it may be opened up at some time in the near future to other uses. Minority whip, I want to assure you, the housing levy, as early as tomorrow or the day we do the appropriations bill, we shall ring fence this money to go only to housing, and we shall be appropriating the 73 billion shillings coming out of this levy to go to the Ministry of Housing to deal with affordable housing in Suna East constituency, among us the 100 constituencies. Honorable Speaker, ask the Honorable Junet to hold on. The Honorable Senior Counsel Tiende Omolo. And you know, the Honorable Senior Counsel speaks good English, as much as he never went to Alliance, but he went to a good school. And in his good English, he may convince the world to believe that he's the only one who can read this Constitution. But this Constitution, Honorable Speaker, the heart and soul of this Constitution is... Honorable Speaker, can you protect me? Honorable Speaker, you know, Senior Counsel is a good lawyer.
Order, Honorable Junet, order. The majority leader will be heard in silence.
I will stone you, Junet.
The Honorable Junet, resume your seat. No. Proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the protection. I know Honorable Junet is averse to the truth when the truth is being laid bare. I was speaking to my good brother, Senior Counsel Tiende Omolo. The heart and soul of this Constitution that you wrote is the Bill of Rights in Chapter 4. In this Bill of Rights, other than the Schedule 4 that you are talking to on the functions of county governments and the functions of the national government, under Article 43 of the Constitution, the right of every Kenyan to accessible, adequate housing and to reasonable standards of sanitation, not in slums. Reasonable standards is a right enshrined under the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the soul of our Constitution. If there is anything to protect in this Constitution, Honorable Speaker, is the Bill of Rights. And in pursuit
Honorable,
of
proceed to wind up.
Honorable Speaker, just
order, members.
Me.
Order, members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Order. Members, you know, I've seen those who want to speak. We have time because once, allow me, I've noticed Honorable Wanjala, I've noticed everyone else want to speak on this. Once we finish this matter, there will be another amendment which will speak to. Allow him to finish. We proceed with this process. Honorable Majority Leader, please proceed to wind up.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for your protection. Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me.
Allow him to wind up. Allow him to wind up. Allow him to wind up. Proceed, please.
Honorable Speaker, I beg that you add me the 2 minutes that have been wasted with the shouting on points of order, frivolous ones. But I was saying this, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Watch, resume your seat and allow the Majority Leader to finish his contribution. Then I will be able to see what to do about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was saying the heart and soul of our Constitution is the Bill of Rights. Fittest to argue that since housing under Schedule 4 of our Constitution is a function of the county governments, that it is unconstitutional. The Bill of Rights is the heart and soul of this Constitution. Just like, Honorable Speaker, if we appropriate national government resources or resources raised by government through taxation to health care, that is outrightly a devolved function, we also can appropriate resources to housing, just like we appropriate resources to deal with health care, that is a devolved function, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also heard my good friend Tiende Omolo tell my majority whip that in his village in Kisii, he cannot live on the 8th floor. He must build a shanty in his village. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, the future is urban. And with urbanization, that is how we shall grow our economy. with urbanization and building of these houses, Honorable Speaker, we have said it numerous times that this is beyond housing. It is about millions of our youth who are languishing in poverty, who are languishing without jobs in our slums. Millions of youth in Kathiani constituency, lawyers, engineers, who will access jobs, architects who will access jobs. It is not just about the manual jobs. It is about lawyers.
Thank you. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, wind up.
50 seconds to finish that point.
Proceed.
And I was mentioning Kathiani for deliberately, because the Honorable Mbui told us that housing will not create architectural jobs. It will not create jobs for doctors. It will not create for engineers, for lawyers. Honorable Mbui, I want to tell you, all those jobs will be created by housing through urbanization. Even doctors, when people live together, will be able to amalgamate land and secure food security for the people of Ukambani, who for many years have had to depend on relief food.
Thank you. Thank you. No, members, allow me to guide this way. We are doing very well, members. Allow me to guide this way. Just like I've allowed order, just like I've allowed members to debate on the Honorable Watch's amendment, I will have a chance to give a couple of you again on the chair's amendments so that we make progress. Those who went to Alliance or those who went to Butler Boys like me will have a chance to say something on this bill. So I would then therefore propose that we are now going to, after this. So, honorable members, I therefore proceed to put the question. Members, remember we had amendments by the Honorable Oluoch, Honorable Nyukal, Honorable Makali Mulu, Honorable Undo, Honorable Kaluma, Honorable Mbui, Honorable Basil. Members, the upshot of our vote is that if the vote is carried, then we have carried the vote for the 7. If it fails, it also fails with it. So therefore, members, I proceed to put the question that clause 76 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Watch. I put the question that clause 76 be deleted. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? Obviously, the nays have it. The nays have it. That's Brett. Thank you. Order, members. Order. Order. Manjala, order. Now, this is now the time for the chair to move his amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I beg to move. Please protect me from the noise from behind. I can't hear myself. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 76 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, I'll beg to move a further amendment to that clause 76. We had a deliberation with the Honorable Caleb Mule, the Member of Parliament from Machakos Town constituency, and he had this proposed amendment to clause 2A that we have agreed to carry on with the recommendations by our committee as a committee amendment, that an additional clause 2A be added to read as follows: the affordable housing levy shall not be used for any other purpose other than development of affordable housing and associated social and physical infrastructure, as well as the provision of affordable home financing to Kenyans. So beg to move that the amendment be done as per the order paper with that additional amendment as we've carried as proposed by the Honorable Caleb Mule, the MP for Machakos Town constituency. I have a few notes, a point of information on this. The question have been asked, first of all, why is it on gross pay and not on basic pay? The proposal before us, first of all, was that this be done at the rate of 3%. And after public participation, we agree that 3% will be too high to start with. Let us shelve that by half to 1.5%. The question is, do you make it basic or do you make it gross?
If you make it basic, honorable members, it defeats the whole purpose. For what reason? If someone has a salary of 100,000 shillings in the private sector, and you say that this particular levy is going to be based on their basic pay, so they're going to use what you call in accounting tax planning and reduce their basic pay to 20,000 shillings, and the 80,000 shillings will be allowances. So that means that the objective of the 73 billion shillings, as alluded by the leader of majority, that is targeted to build affordable housing for Kenyans, will be defeated. Secondly, the initial bill had a proposal to have a cap of 2,500 shillings for employer and 2,500 shillings for employee. And Honorable Chair, this particular provision was, we agreed as a committee we're going to delete. For what reason? For you members of parliament that earn an income of above 500,000 shillings, for example, if you capped this to the amount of salary that members of parliament earn is public knowledge. So, okay, for someone who earns 500,000 shillings, let me use as an example. If you cap their contribution to 2,500, then it would mean they're not contributing, that if they even earlier proposed 3%. For what reason? Because the 2,500 divided by 500,000 shillings is 0.005%, which would mean that that particular capping was advantageous to those people that are earning more, but punitive to those people. It would, however, anybody would have argued that it was discriminatory for those people who are earning less and advantageous to those people who are earning more. On the question of this affordable housing, because I want to make this last contribution, we have, as at yesterday, 42 signed memorandum of understanding between the State Department of Housing and county governments. And key to note is that the 42 county governments are across the political divide. So our governors, both Kenya Kwanza governors and Azimio governors, have actually signed MOUs with the State Department of Housing, giving land in their counties to be used for affordable housing. Everyone is agreeing that this is a noble cause, and that is why I beg that this House agrees with the amendments as proposed by the committee. And with that, I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I now propose the question that Clause 76 be amended as proposed by the Chair of the Finance Committee. The members, we agreed we will give, first of all, there's on order members, the Honorable Mule. Honorable Mule had an amendment which was carried, so I would like him to just say a word. Okay, the Honorable Wanjala. Honorable Mule, go ahead. 1 minute, Honorable Mule. It's okay. As we get Honorable Mule, let's get Honorable Wanjala. 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, we have institutions in this country that can build houses. And Mr. Chairman, these houses have not been started to be constructed by Kenya Kwanza government. The former Prime Minister Raila Odinga and the former President Mwai Kibaki started construction of affordable houses, and they never taxed anybody. Mr. Chairman, Uhuru has been building houses. He has never taxed anybody. And we have specific housing institutions. We have NSSF that is supposed to construct houses. We have National Housing Corporation is supposed to build houses. And then we have finance, we have finance, Lab Trust, Mr. Speaker. I was in Rwanda 2 weeks ago.
They are constructing houses, but they are not levying anybody. They are not taxing anybody. Mr. Chairman, this is a scandal in the offing, like the golden bag. Because even as we are talking today, NSSF coffers is empty. They have already washed it. It is, they have taken all the money, it is empty. The same way they will deal with the issue of the house.
Thank you. The Honorable Mule, who was supposed to get, I don't know whether you can find him now.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Chair, mine is just to thank the Finance Committee for accepting to adopt my proposed amendment. The proposed amendment as it is in clause 76, 31B3, as it is in the order paper, that the affordable housing levy not to be used for any other purpose other than the development of affordable housing. Basically, this was to ring-fence the fund not to be used in any other purposes other than to build houses, affordable houses.
Thank you.
Chair,
Thank you.
Chair, just a minute, Chair. Chair, this was necessitated by other funds that have been there in the country, like the sports fund. The sports fund was set aside to grow and develop sports, which does not do that, does not serve that purpose. So, Honorable Chair, I thank the...
Thank you. Thank you so much. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that clause 76 be amended as proposed by the chair of the Finance Committee. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now proceed to put the question. I now put the question that clause 76 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I've confirmed that we have the numbers for division. I order that the bell be rung for 5 minutes and the clerks to prepare for the division.
Units in collaboration with KBC, where the National Assembly is currently on a 5-minute break, where the bell for division has rung for 5 minutes, and political leaders from across the political divide are currently on a break to marshal numbers ahead of the voting. Remember, the National Assembly is currently considering several proposed amendments to the Finance Bill 2023 that is currently at the Committee of the Whole House stage before it's enacted into law. The members of Parliament have been considering clause 76 of the Bill on Housing, where the Employment Act 2017 is amended by inserting the following into the new sections. That is, notwithstanding the provision of Section 3(2)(a), B, C, and D of the Act, each employee and all employers shall pay a monthly levy to be known as the Affordable House Levy. That says that the purpose of the Affordable House Levy shall be to provide for the funds for the development of affordable housing and associated social and physical infrastructure, as well as the provision of affordable home financing to Kenyans. Also, the monthly levy to be payable by the employer and employee shall be 1.5% of the employee's gross monthly salary for the employer. This means that an employer shall pay to the National Housing Development Fund established under Section 7 of the Housing Act, in respect of each employee, the employer's contribution at 3% of the employer's monthly basic salary. Remember earlier on, the members of Parliament in the morning, capped at the housing contribution, which was earlier capped at a maximum of 2,500 and matched by employers, will now go directly to the government's bank's account as opposed to a fund. By making it a levy as opposed to a contribution, the money shall not be refundable to employees as in the earlier proposal. The National Treasury had initially proposed a 3% contribution that would have been matched by employers also at 3%. Earlier on, the members of Parliament voted to pass the proposed 16% VAT on fuel, with 184 members of Parliament voting for the fuel to be increased, the VAT from 8% to 16%, while 88 voted against it. The employees who qualify for the affordable housing, the contribution accrued to employee and shall be used to finance and purchase of a home under the affordable house scheme, or for employees who are not eligible for affordable housing upon expiry of 7 years from the date of the start of making the contribution after the attainment of their retired age, whichever is earlier, a transfer of the contribution to a retirement benefit scheme or a pension scheme registered with the Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA, or a transfer of their contributions to any person registered and eligible for affordable housing under the National Housing Development Fund, NHDF, or a transfer of their contributions to their spouse or dependent or children. On 5, or to receive their contribution in cash, provided the contribution paid out in cash shall be included in the contributor's taxable income for the year and be subjected to tax at the prevailing rates. Remember, the employer shall remit both employee and employer's contribution to the National Housing Development Fund before the 9th day of the following month after the deduction has been made. This, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters relating to housing, in consultation with the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters relating to finance, shall make regulations prescribing the qualifications to participate in the affordable housing scheme. And number 6, this section shall become effective on the date the regulations made. Subsequent 5 come into operations. And as you can see, members from across the political divide right now are consulting ahead of the voting, with the Speaker saying that the voting shall be happening in 5 minutes. The members from across the political divide, as you can see on your screens, are consulting with those from the opposition, saying that taxing of wananchi of 1.5% and 1.5% from the members of from the employee and that of the people will subject the taxpayers into a lot of money, especially now during financial crisis. However, those from
resume your seat. Members, resume your seats. Members, resume your seats. I now order that the bar be drawn. Order, members, resume your seats.
No, we are too many here.
Of course, okay.
Let us leave.
You have to talk to me. I'm not in order. What's wrong with you? I'm going to order that you sit back there so they give me another exemption. You can't do that. Order, members. May we resume our seats? Order, members. The Honorable Memusi, resume your seat. The Honorable Luke, resume your seat. The Honorable Ben Suda, resume your seat. Order, members. Order, members. Order, members. Order, members. I request that the minority side to nominate two agents from minority side and 2 from the majority side, not 10 like they're on my back. 2 from each side. Members, resume your seats. Honorable DK, Honorable Ruto, resume your seats. Honorable Hillary, resume your seat. Honorable Maua, resume your seat. Order, members. Honorable Engineer Oscar Sudi, resume your seat. Honorable Dipo Kwame, resume your seat. Honorable Dipo Kwame, are you standing or sitting? Resume your seat. Honorable Kawaya, resume your seat. We shall, honorable members, order. We shall vote as required by the laws and our standing orders, that we shall vote yes or no, and we shall vote in silence and with decorum. Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that clause 76 as amended be part of the bill. Go ahead.
Chepkonga Kiprono, Langat Benjamin, Kitani Marian, Atandi Samuel, Owino John Walter, Mrembo Irene Joki, Churie Abdi Omar, Churie Abdi Omar, Sergon Florence, Kandie Joshua,
give him the mic.
Aya. On behalf of the people of Baringo Central, I vote yes.
Kipkoros Joseph Makilap, Kamuren Charles, Koesh Nelson, Momanyi Innocent, Momanyi Innocent,
I vote yes.
Barongo Norfason,
I vote no.
Alpha Miruka Ondieki. Lynette Chepkorir. Kilel Richard Cheruiyot. Yegon Richard.
Members, be loud enough. Be loud enough. Members, be loud enough so they can hear you.
Mwamacha Onchoke. Ogola Gideon Ochanda.
No. Yes.
Ogola Gideon Ochanda. Osero Patrick Kibagendi.
Obara Eve. Kabondo Kasipul votes no.
Order. 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 The person voting next was Patrick Osero, not Obara. Patrick Osero.
Obara was called ahead.
You are called before.
I was called before, Osero. Can you start again, please?
The Honorable Eve Obara, resume your seat. Your chance will come.
Okay.
Give up the mic.
Osero Patrick Kibagendi. Wanjala Raphael.
Media houses, make sure you print who voted yes and no and abstain. I vote no.
Wamboka Nelson. Wamboka Nelson.
On behalf of the people of Bumula and the people of Kikuyu constituency, I vote no.
Wambilianga Catherine. Wambilianga Catherine. Yakub Ado. Yakub Ado. Komingoi Kibet Kirui. Komingoi Kibet Kirui. Omanyo Catherine. Mwale Nicholas Tindi. Oyula Joseph. Mwiridhania Rindikiri. Kirema Moses Gishuna. Chimbwa Omar Mwinyi.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Mr. Chairman, I'm voting no. Madam Chair, I'm voting no.
Thank you. And no speeches kindly. Let us just say yes or no so that we can proceed faster.
Koech Victor Kipngetich. Baraza Patrick Simiu. Diego Paul Kibichi. Ntwiga Patrick Munene. Mahali Mfara. Elachi Beatrice. Waweru John Kiaria.
Order. Don't Wamboka, you do that again, there'll be consequences to it. Members will vote individually. Don't Wamboka. You try to vote for another member again, there'll be consequences. Members are voting for themselves. Allow members to vote for themselves, not you voting for members.
Waweru John Kiaria. Sirma Musa. Welie Adam Kenan. Caroline Geptong Elechei. Gadiru Mejadong Benjamin. Mejadong. Ongili Babu Owino.
I, Babu Owino, Member of Parliament for Embakasi East Constituency, first class honors holder in actuarial science, an actuary, a lawyer, 6 diploma holder. I vote no. Just trying to say that my conscience is clear as I'm voting.
Gakuya James Mwangi. Mawade Julius Musili.
What from here?
From here, bro. That's
Mawade, on behalf of the people of Embakasi South, I vote no to this punitive levy.
Proceed.
Mwenje Mark Samuel Muridi.
I vote no.
Thank you.
Double N Pamela Njoki. Lelmengit Jose Kipto.
I vote yes.
Omboko Milemba. Omboko Milemba.
He's not there. He's not here. He's not in the hall.
Kipiegon Johanna Ngeno. Pukose Robert. Yakub Farasala. Oundo Wilberforce Ojiambo.
On behalf of suffering workers in this country, I vote no.
Members, if any member anymore now makes a speech, we will not use the mic going forward. It's either yes or no. Proceed.
Yakub Farasala.
Before is a yes, bro. Before is a yes, bro. Yes, thank you.
Iribae Said Buya. Tungule Sharo Kenneth.
Is he back?
Confirm again, come on, you put the
Tungule Charo Kenneth. Ziad Amina Udgong.
Where?
Baro Deko Mohammed. Guyo Ali Wario. Guyo Ali Wario. Muriu Wakili Edward. Kururia Elijah Njora.
Enda 60, number 60 again. Number 60.
Guyo Ali Wario.
The Honorable Guyo Ali Wario, are you in the house?
He's not there. He's not there. Why you keep putting
The Honorable.
Why you putting the wrong information?
I'm here, Chair.
The Honorable Guyo Ali Wario is in the house? Great, thanks. Proceed.
I'm present.
Ayuko. Let's not move on. Let's not move on. I'm going there. Chair, you are paused.
Read my name again, Chair.
Chair, there is 258.
The Amina Udogon, is she in the house? No. Okay.
Kururia, I vote yes.
Order. The Honorable Omboko Milemba.
Absent.
61 fast.
61 rudia tusikie.
Okay. Kururia Elijah Njore.
I vote yes.
Who's Kururia?
Over there.
Who's Kururia?
Over there.
Kagombe Gabriel Gaduka.
Yes.
Odhiambo Elisha Ochieng. Yedenji Robert Gishimo. Anjira Madha Wangare. Wamushomba Gadoni. Gimose Charles Gumini.
Yes, yes.
Osogo Bensuda Joyce Atieno.
No.
Kaluma George Peter.
No, because this provision is unconstitutional, I say no.
Karido Kiili Daniel. Karido Kiili Daniel. Manaiba Julius Taitumu. Muriki John Paul. Abdi Ali.
I vote yes.
Shinali Bernard Masika. Shinali Bernard Masika. Bonaya Mumina Golo. Lomwa Joseph Samal. Tubi Bidu Mohammed. Badibadi Twalib. Badibadi Talib.
Badibadi Twalib, I vote no on behalf of the people of Jomvu.
Ndongo George Koimburi.
Wamashukuru James Gidhua. Obara Eve Akinyi.
I vote no.
Okay. Kalasinga Joseph Simiu.
For the sake of people Kabuchai, no.
Titus Lote. Titus Lote. Kimilu Joshua Kivinda. I vote no. Titus Lote. Kimilu Joshua Kivinda.
I vote no.
Sankaire Lea. Kanchori Elijah. Hamisi Kakuta. Nguro Onesimus. Sakimpa Parashina. Risa Sunkuya. Muhanda Elsie.
On behalf of the people of Kakamega, I vote no.
Katana Paul.
Kwa niaba ya wakazi wa Kaloleni nasema la.
Hassan Abdi Yusuf. Njogona Chege. Makali John. Kihungi Peter. Muli Fabian. Shumel Samuel. Sudi Oscar. Okweme Andrew.
I vote no for Karachuonyo and myself.
Karauri Ronald. Were Charles.
I vote no.
Bui Robert. Corinne Adams. Kipkoech Gideon. Kemei Beatrice. Ruto Julius. Wangaya Christopher. Wanjiko John. Waidaka John. Murada Ann. Orero Peter. Balu Jessica. Mutuse Ekomas. Wainaina Anthony. Munyoro Joseph. Ichungwa Anthony.
Yes.
Nyoro Samson. Julius Sunkuli. Mwanyanje Gatwi.
Chair, serikali ijengee nyumba polisi, wazee kule Isiolo na Marsabit. I, Gatun Beyu Manyanje, I vote no to house levy. Sema yako, tunga sentence yako, tunga yako.
Order, that's enough.
Go ahead.
Baya Owen. Kitty Richard Chonga. Zambia Thaddeus. Zambia Thaddeus.
Testing.
No.
Mutua Didmas.
Order. Order members. Can we have the Honorable Mutua Barasa vote again?
Mutua Didmas. Bissau Morris. Bissau Morris. Rai Samuel Gonzi. Kwenya Dhuku. Muhia Wanjiko. Cherorot Joseph. Kosgei Hilary. Maina Jane. Gitari Joseph. Benziba Rashid.
Just vote.
Aburi Donya.
Proceed.
Busia Ruth Adhiambo.
Just vote from where you are. There. Just vote from where you are, the Honorable Busia.
Oron Joshua. Ahmed Shakib Ahmed Shabir. Buyu Rosa. Kasalu Irene.
Just vote.
Mulu Makali. Mbai Nimro. Boni David. Nyamai Rachel. Nyense Edith.
So, just where are you? Just hold there. Where are we? Nyamai. Ayor Nyamai also. Ayor Nyamai. Okay, let's proceed now.
Nyense Edith. Mokaya Nyakundi. Kibagendi Anthony. Kisairo Clive. Yegon Brighton, Kiprono Mutai, Tonui Joseph, Camero Kitayama, Robbie Matthias, Masito Fatuma, Wanyonyi Ferdinand, Abdurrahman Mohammed Abdi, Abdurrahman Mohammed Abdi, Mohammed Abdulkadir Hussein, Kagiri Jane, Kiunjuri Festus, Korere Sara, Karani Stephen, Karani Stephen, Lekuton Joseph, Marubu Monica, Obo Rueda, Mairuri Mudama, Kothe Felix Oduo, Moiruri Mudama, Kahangara Joseph, Boko Michi, Mugabe Innocent, Shege John Kiramu, Akuja Protas, Oyugi Maungu, Nabi Nabwera, Chiforomondo Mangale, Mukhwana Titus, Mbiuki Kareke, Kamene Joyce,
Thank you. On behalf of the Machakos County citizens and those who have their homes, I vote no.
Mule Kalek, Kombe Harrison, Omwera Aladua, Kiamba Susana, Mumo Rose Museo, Ijendi Moses, Nyazi Amina, Abdullahi Bashir Sheikh, Sheikh Umulkhair Kasim, Abdurrahman Hussein Wetan, Haro Abdul, Yusuf Adam, Mukunji John, Joroge Mary, Bowen Kangogo, Torochich Timothy, Torotich Timothy, Naomi Jilo,
Yes.
Mwalio Joshua, Odanga Joffrey, Oluoch Anthony,
Honorable, just vote from there. We can hear you. Just vote. Just vote from where you are with your. Just vote. Vote number is
Swap. Kagushia. Who's ahead? Swap.
I, Anthony Tom Oluoch, vote no!
Gishuki Edu,
Order. Behind, excuse me, the Honorable Pukose, the Honorable Murio, the Honorable Akili. The Honorable Pukose, resume your seat. Are we now having 2-2? Okay, proceed. Michuki again.
Kahungi Eric, Kahungu Eric, Gishuki Edwin, Tandasa Kasi, Nabulido Peter, Mule Stephen, Kingola Patrick, Geoffrey Rocco, Nebak Bernard Urioki, Zioka Erasmus, Kailemia Elizabeth, Mohamed Fatuma, Kipngor Ruben Kiborek, Bartol Phyllis, Kimani Francis, Chimba Samsa, Kirwa Abraham. Jaldesa Guyo. Bader Salim Faisal. Chesebe Fred. Oyo James. Goyo James. Gichohi Kagusha. Salasia Peter.
Last year, you'll vote again. Honorable Salasia, will you vote again? Will you vote again? Okay.
Naika Johnson. Maina Betty. Machele Mohammed. Musau Vincent Musioka. Shake Peter Bongo.
Order, members. The members to my right, would you all resume your seats? Okay, proceed.
Maingi Mary.
Honorable DK, you will resume your seat.
Mulyungi Gideon.
Watu wa Mwingi wamekataa ushuru wa ukora.
Zengu Paul Msimu.
On behalf of the people of Mwingi North, I vote no.
Guna Charles. Pasaris Esther.
Thank you, Chair. I have a dream of a Kenya where the Thank you, Chair. I have a dream of a Kenya where the images of slums remain in our history books and not on the motherland. For the millions of Kenyans living in the 1,400 slums, I vote yes.
proceed. Proceed. Proceed.
Kihara Jane. Shelule Lisa. Gikaria David. Arama Samuel.
Don't ever miss Mboko. Don't ever miss Mboko. You can't be voting so many times. Gikaria, will you take your vote again? Don't ever Gikaria, will you take your vote again? Okay. I'll send you back.
Mulanya Geoffrey. Munge Cynthia. Mulanya Geoffrey. Munge Cynthia. Kitur Bernard. Tonkei Rebecca.
Just vote.
I vote yes.
Aramat Lemanken. Pareyo Agnes. Kitilai Olentutu. Tongo Gabriel. Wangwe Emmanuel. Gashagwa George. Owino Martins. GK George Mashari. Shepkon Charity. Guyo Wario. Abdul Rahim. Nyamoko Josh. Owor Joshua.
He's voted over there.
Mohammed Ali. Mogina Jerosha. Gitao Faith. Odoyo Okelo.
Just vote. What we just vote? What number is it? But these guys.
On behalf of Nyando constituency, I vote no to these bogus.
Chanda Sahib. Manduku Daniel. Odege Paul.
Pale kwake ni wapi?
On behalf of overtaxed workers in this country, I vote no.
Washira Rahab. Madenge Duncan. Madenge Duncan. Muchira Michael. Keraho David. Wainaina Michael. Kosing David. Mupe Anthony Ken. Gogo Lilia. Amolo Paul. Chebor Paul. Paul Abuor. Mwafrika Agosti. Francis Kajua. Kingara Saibu. Karemba Eric. Lugova Sloya. Luyai Kaleb. Raso Dido. Lenguris Poli. Lentoitoni Jackson. Letipla Dominic. Lesuda Josephine. Nikal James. Ikana Frederick. Ikana Frederick. Oduor Christine. Lochakapong Peter. Kemei Justice. Koi John Waluki. Sigei Francis. Ivinji Shadrach Mwit. Onyengo Silvanus.
Yes.
Kiplagat David. Maina Amos.
I believe we can construct houses without necessarily taxing the people. And for that reason, I vote no.
Odhiambo Billy. Omondi Karoli. Gashove Samuel. Mohammed Junet. Masara Peter. Mizigi Lydia. Abdullahi Amina Dika. Abdullahi Amina Dika. Bara Hussein Abdi. Buire John Okana. Oku Kaunya. Otucho Mary. Mwangi Geoffrey. Wandeto. Murugara George. Nduyo Susan. Nganga Alice. Kasait William. Aburi Lawrence. Mutunga John. Julius Medi, Chikati John, Julius Medi. Chikati John. Siyoi Lilian. Sitiene Janet. Nitit Cecilia. Emade Joseph. Gikolon Nicholas. Gikolon Nicholas. Nabuin Paul. Namoit John. Nanok Daniel. Boss Gladys. Ochieng David. Wandai James. Nyamita Mark. Kagesi Kivai. Adagala Beatrice. Abdi Khamis Chome. No. Jeho Fatuma Abdi. Mohamed Aden Daoudi. Sani Ibrahim Abdi. Ado Mohamed Aden. Farah Yusuf Mohamed. Wanyonyi Martin Pepela. Sitati Daniel Wanyama. Mogaka Stephen. Kasivai Rael. Wetangula Timothy.
I vote no.
Mwakuona Danso. Basil Robert Gui.
Yeah, On behalf of Yatta people, I vote no.
Ali Abdisirat. Shege Sabina Wanjiro. Dena Joseph Hamisi. Harun Suleha. Ikiara Donovan. Iraya Joseph. Koskei Jackson.
I vote yes.
Mayaka Irene. Mohamed Umulher Harun. Mwangi Teresia Wanjiro. Ngongo John. Ngongo John. John Bunny.
Weka microphone. I vote no.
Talib Abubakar Ahmed. Lekuton Joseph. Okay.
Uzuri unauliza watu wamefika wapi kusema. Peke yake. Hawezi ile. Ile maneno nifikiri aje. Planner. Degree yako ni 2 years. Sema mrembo. Kuja pande hii bwana. Kuja huku. Tunaongea tu.
Ukikuja ukisema
resume your seats? Members, voting is over. Will you resume your seats? The Honorable Lachi, the Honorable Koi Waluke. Honorable members, order. The Honorable Sunkuya. Order, members, resume your seats. Resume your seats. Order, members. Order, members, these are the results. Order, members. The Honorable Sunkuya, take your seat. The Honorable Sunkuya, will you take your seat? The Honorable Sunkuya. These are the results of the voting on the division that clause 76 as amended be part of the bill. Members present and voting, 256. Those voting aye, 184. Those voting nay, 72. Therefore, the ayes have it. Let's proceed. Open the door. Clause number 77.
Clause 77.
I propose a question that clause 77 will be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 77 will be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 78.
Clause 78. I propose the question that clause 78 is part of the bill. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, I would like to move that clause 78 be amended as proposed on the order paper. And Honorable Chair, I would like to move a further amendment to that clause 78, deleting 2023 and replacing that to 2013. So I beg to move that clause 78 be amended as per the order paper. I also propose that a further amendment to that, to deleting the figure 2023 and replacing it thereof with 2013. And I thank you, Honorable Chair.
I propose a question that clause 78 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 78 be amended as proposed. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 78 as amended part of the bill. Will as many other opinion say aye? Will as many other opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 79.
The Honorable Tiani, what is the problem? Order, members. Just a minute. Those who are withdrawing from the House, withdraw peacefully. Those who are not withdrawing to take their seats. Go ahead, Honorable Tiani.
Mr. Chairman, I guess the vote has been taken, but I had wanted to draw the members' attention. Mr. Chairman, if those withdrawing could leave.
Order, members. Order. Order, members. Order, members. Go ahead, Honorable Tiani.
As an unlawful Kamukunji with the Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Tiani, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I had wanted to point out and had conferred with the chair of the committee that actually that amendment had a mistake, and that's why it's been corrected. But it's an example, Mr. Chairman, of why we must be vigilant. Because the original amendment was actually going to take away the power of this House to review subsidiary legislation, and that's very serious.
Thank you.
Because some people, like the Honorable Ichungwa, who's not here, think that you can read laws like novels. And if you read them keenly, then you'd realize the mischief. So I just wanted to point that out, but it's now overtaken by events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Order, members, let's proceed.
Clause 79.
I propose the question that clause 79 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 79 be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as many as to contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 80.
I propose the question that clause 80 be part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 20 be amended as per the order paper. Honorable
It's
Chair,
clause 80.
I thought I said 8, sorry. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 80 be amended as per the order paper. And Honorable Chair, this is just a cleanup where we are just including the word designated as a cleanup to the retirement benefits of deputy presidents, liaison officers Act of 2015.
I propose the question that clause 80 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. The Honorable Nikal.
Chair, can we get the practical import of that amendment?
Chair.
Again, Honorable Chair, this is a cleanup, but I know what the Honorable Nikal could be alluding to. You will get a chance to, we can debate that in clause 82. The one that's talking about the retirement benefits of deputy president and designated state officers. But this clause 80 and clause 81 are just cleanups.
Thank you. I now put the question that clause 80 be amended as proposed. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 80 as amended be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the, as many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 81.
I propose the question that clause 81 is part of the bill. Mover.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 81 be amended as per the order paper. And again, Honorable Chair, this is just a cleanup of that particular clause.
I propose the question that clause 81 be amended as proposed. I put the question that clause 81 be amended as proposed. Will as many without opinion say aye? Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 81 be as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 82.
I propose the question that clause 82 be part of the bill. Mover.
Again, clause 32, clause 82. Clause 82.
Clause 82.
Yes, again, clause 82 is more of a cleanup. So I propose that clause 82 be amended as per the order paper.
I propose the question that clause 82 be amended as proposed by the chairman of Finance Committee. I put the question that clause 82 be amended as proposed. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 82 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 83 and 84.
I propose the question that clauses 83 and 84 be part of the bill. And I put the question that clauses 83 and 84 be part of the bill. Will as many as opinion say aye? Will as many as are the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clauses, new clause 73A.
To move. Chair Transport Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I beg to move that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clause immediately after clause 73. 73A, Section 7 of the Kenya Roads Board Act 1999 is amended in subsection 1 by A, deleting paragraph G, and B, deleting the word 8 appearing at the beginning of the paragraph and substituting therefore the word 5. And secondly, Honorable Chair, that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clause immediately after clause 74. New clause 74A, the first schedule to the KRB Act.
Order. You'll move the 73A and we vote on it before you go to 74. So, Chair,
Okay, Chair, I beg to move.
Just do it again and say that you move that we read that new clause a second time.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that 73A be amended as read.
I propose the question that the new clause 73A be now read a second time. The Honorable Wundo, 1 minute.
For sure it will be 1 minute. Can the chair actually explain to us what is happening? I mean, just talking about paragraph G, 8 and 5, exactly what's the import of the amendments? We need to know their import. What
Chair,
is
1
it
minute.
that we are querying?
That's a Chair, 1 minute.
Thank you, Chair. I think that justification is about to come, so if you can give me a few seconds, I'll be able to give the justification. And the point is, we are reducing the number of directors from 12 to 9, in line with the Mongozo Code of Administration.
Directors of what? Of which body?
That's KRB, Kenya Roads Board.
Thank you.
Yes.
I now put the question that the new clause 73A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 73A be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 73A be part of the bill. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of that contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 74A.
Chair of Transport Committee.
Honorable Chair, I move that the bill be amended by inserting the following new clause immediately after clause 74. New clause 74A.
Honorable Chair, you will go with me.
Yes.
And move that the new clause be now read a second time.
All right. I move that the clause 74A be read the second time. If I got you right, Chair. The first schedule to the KRB Act 1999 is amended by A, deleting paragraph 4, deleting paragraph 5, and deleting paragraph 6. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
I propose the question that the new clause 74A be now read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 74A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Nyikal, out of order.
Chair, whenever you have new clauses in amendments, remember, members did not have the chance of seeing those clauses. So you cannot, therefore, assume like you would have if they were in the bill before. And then you can tell the members, you had the bill, you didn't read it. That's fine. But if the clauses are new and a second time, the member has to explain exactly, this is what we are doing, and this is what it means. No, in the order paper, you just say replace this, replace that. So you then cannot assume that.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nyikal. You know that you already voted on this matter, but I would indulge you. Chair, 30 seconds to explain what this is about. 30 seconds. 1 minute at most.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The purpose of these amendments is to reduce the number of directors or the board members from 12 to 9. You know, most of the agencies, government agencies, have not more than 9 board members. But KRB has 12. And in line with the Mongozo Code of Governance, it is necessary that we abide by the same by reducing the number of directors from 12 to 9.
That was 73A, 74A?
It's the same. It's the same, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It is.
No, we've already voted on this, Honorable Nyikal. We can't go back to it. The Honorable Nyikal, resume your seat. I'll give you a chance. I want to propose the question that new clause 74A be part of the bill. Now go ahead.
Chair, when you are taking a very substantive amendment, remember that actually the finance bill, in a way, is a miscellaneous amendment bill because it is touching on very many acts at the same time. And now, if you are doing a substantive thing like changing the board of directors of an institution, Chair, I think that is not the right thing to do in this. And more so, if you then say, then we would like to know in that composition what parts, which one is being removed, who is being removed, because these boards are normally representative. So the proper thing would say in the act, it is the following, and therefore we are removing this and this and this. Now that is what would be proper. And another thing, Mr. Chair, Mwongozo is not a legal entity, it is a policy. You as a lawyer will guide us whether you can actually change a whole act in a situation like this using in line with Mwongozo, which in itself is not an institution.
Thank you.
Chair, that's my concern.
The Honorable Chungwa, what is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, I was just consulting with the chairs, and to an extent I want to agree with what Professor Nyikal, Dr. Nyikal is saying, and request the chair of the Transport Committee to withdraw that particular amendment to save time.
Chair. No. I want to make a ruling on this matter. Okay.
I think, Chair, I think the horse has bolted. The first part of the amendment has been carried, and the global question has been. Just put the second question to Malizar and I.
1 minute. The Honorable Makali Mulu. 1 minute, Makali. Honorable Makali.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be very brief. Mr. Chairman, I think as a matter of procedure, it is important that where we have new clauses, the people who are making those proposals explain to the House the issues, and in line with what the majority leader has said, you know we have already passed 73A. Now, if you delete 74A, then you leave it hanging, because I think 74A has been informed by 73A, so that you reduce some institutions to remain with 9. So I think it's important we just either do a voting for 74.
Thank you, Honorable Makali. Honorable Wandai, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Chair, I agree with Honorable Makali Mulu and Honorable Nyikal that the neatest thing is to allow us to go the full hog and take a vote on this matter. Okay? I am one of those people who have in the past advocated for the reduction of those numbers. In that board, the Kenya Roads Board has had a very high number of directors. But without taking a position, let us go the full hog and take a vote. The idea of withdrawing doesn't arise at this late hour in the day. Thank you.
The honorable members, you know what to do on these kind of matters. You know what to do, right? So, because what you have reached, the chair cannot withdraw. So you know what to do. I put the question that the new clause 74A be part of the bill. We'll have another opinion say aye. We'll have another opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
New clause 75A. Chair for Finance.
Chair Finance Committee. Order members. I'm so sure that both sides got what they wanted, so that's all right. The chairperson Committee of Finance. New clause 75A. 75A.
Thank you very much. I beg to move that the new clause 75A be read a second time. Honorable Chair, this particular clause is giving power the Board of Kenya Revenue Authority to appoint deputy commissioners, something that was not there before in the Act. With that, I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
I propose a question that the new clause 75A now be read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 75A be now read a second time. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose a question that the new clause 75A be part of the bill. Yes, Honorable Nikal.
I know I may not be very well informed. I didn't read that in detail. I have to get the other act and read it. But Chair, we have a risk of doing something that is highly questionable. Using the Finance Act to actually change the structure of an authority like this is something that may be questionable. And I know we have done that, and I see some mischief. I think people should be sober enough to actually do the correct thing. Mwongozo is in itself not a legal document. So it's not over now. Now we are on 75 and we are still doing the same thing. Yeah, but whatever it is,
thank you, Honorable Nikal.
The principle is not right.
Thank you, Honorable Nikal. I now proceed to propose Honorable Boundo.
Chair, I also want to go on record that this is procedural. This is a substantive matter that has not been subjected to public participation, and it has found its way in this bill. Indeed, Chair, the Parliament is a house of procedure. I would kindly request the Chair to withdraw this particular amendment before you vote on it, so that it's subjected to proper legislative process, because introducing offices in an authority without following the law and public participation is unprocedural and unfair to the people of Kenya.
Thank you,
Chair.
I now put the question that the new clause 75A be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 75B.
Chair of Finance Committee.
That's what I'm telling you. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 75B be amended as per the order paper. Honorable Chair, as you may recall, we did pass another amendment that gave the Kenya Revenue Authority
Just take it again, Chair. Just say to be read a second time, not amended. To be read a second time.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 75B be read a second time. As you may recall, Honorable Chair, yesterday we did pass a requirement.
Order, members, order. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, we did pass. No, this will come later. There is a proposal on the Honorable Chair to have Kenya Revenue Authority set the minimum required price for alcohol in this country, so that any particular alcohol that is sold below a particular price, what we are calling the minimum cost price, is regarded as being illicit. And therefore, Honorable Chair, by giving this responsibility to Kenya Revenue Authority, therefore it necessitates that we add the responsibilities of Kenya Revenue Authority, the administration of the Alcoholic Drinks Act of 2010. So with that, I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
I propose the question that the new clause 75B be now read a second time. I put the question. Don't Tende.
Chair, I know that people are tired. I know that this matter has been prosecuted unsuccessfully by Dr. Nyikal and Dr. Undo, but I need to go on record. Chairman, all these additional new clauses need to adhere to the title of the Finance Bill, which is an act of Parliament to amend the laws relating to various taxes and duties and matters incidental thereto. Anything that does not relate to that is improper. Now, I am aware, I'm acutely aware, that those who think they know the law more than me, like Honorable Chungwa, will say that we have to pass it. But I'll remind him, there's a reason people go to law school for 10 years after leaving Alliance. And he keeps telling us he went to Alliance, but he doesn't say that it was in his village. Mr. Chairman, I beg us to take note that it is actually unprocedural. It might be convenient, but it's improper.
Honorable Tiende, are you suggesting that Alliance, is a village school?
Alliance is a national school like the school I went to. But in the case of Honorable Chungwa, it is in his village. And then he comes to work in Nairobi. So he can't keep singing it to us.
The Honorable Chungwa, 1 minute, and you should not veer off the main issue.
Chair, you know my good friend, the Honorable Tiende Amolo, knows even the national school he went to is in some village. But you know, Kikuyu village, just like Kamagut and Sugoi, are very important villages. Oh dear Lord. Kikuyu has not just produced one national school, the Alliance High School. It also has the Alliance Girls High School. It has Kikuyu campus, where many members here, including the chair of education, went to school. Therefore, Honorable Chair,
thank you.
Please defend.
Thank you. Chair, what do you want to debate about? Because let me have the Honorable Barasa.
Mr. Chairman, all the villages are important. Let us stick to important matters that are put us here, not discussing about village schools wherever they are. We all went to serious schools. Every school is as serious as Alliance High School.
Thank you. Honourable members, I now want to put the question that the new clause 75B be now read a second time. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 75B be part of the bill. I now put the question. The Honorable Farah. The Honorable Farah.
Chair, for the benefit of the House, anything that has got a financial implication, regardless of what that act is, whether it's the Kenya Roads Board Act or it's the KRA Act, can be raised in the financial, statement.
Thank you so much.
The finance bill itself.
Thank you. Thank you. I now put the question that the new clause 75B be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 75C.
Mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that clause 75C be read a second time. This particular clause, Honorable Speaker, is an amendment to the Retirement Benefits Act that removes the requirement for share capital holding for pension schemes to Kenyans to reduce the requirement for foreigners for pension scheme to have shareholding of 66% to reduce that to 33%. Honorable Chair, these are some of the issues that came from public participation. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that the new clause 75C be now read a second time. I put the question that the new clause 75C be now read a second time. Will as many as are that opinion say aye? Will as many as the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 75C be part of the bill. I put the question that the new clause 75C be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 76A.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that new clause 76A be read a second time. This clause, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, sets the minimum input cost price for alcoholic drinks in the country. So this would mean that the Kenya Revenue Authority will have the mandate to set the minimum price particular drink should be sold. And this, Honorable Speaker, is intended to ensure that we get rid of the illicit brews that are sold to our young people in this country. I beg to move, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that the new clause 76A be part of be now read a second time. Honorable Wundo.
Chair, I find this amendment seriously outrageous, and it offends public policy. We have an open economy, a market-driven economy. This is in a way introducing price controls that were discontinued very, very many years ago. A businessman should be allowed to trade. He produces, he sells, depending on demand. And basically, and he knows the basic principles, the interaction between demand and supply determines pricing. How would you have set minimum pricing? Honestly speaking, we have so many.
Thank you. Honorable Minority Leader.
Chair, I hear the
Minority Leader. This chance,
order.
This chance is for the Minority Leader.
Yeah, I also just want to support, to agree with the Honorable Dr. Ojiambo Oundo. We must be very, very careful when we start introducing amendments to the law, which would actually imply that we are encouraging monopoly and price controls and things like that. I don't find this particular clause agreeable. Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Chair, I hear what the Leader of Minority and Professor Jambo are saying. However, Honorable Speaker, this amendment has nothing to do with control of pricing. And that is why the wording is very particular. It is minimum input cost. And the reason is simple, Honorable Speaker. And we are all aware that hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of our young people are dying, others are maimed by the consumption of illicit alcohol. This illicit alcohol is being manufactured using all manner of shortcuts and chemicals being mixed to an extent where, Honorable Speaker, you get people who are selling drinks that are concoction of chemicals in the pretext that it's clean and what we call fit for human consumption,
Thank
ethanol.
you.
Honorable Speaker, let me just finish that point because it's very dear to me. And you sell it as alcohol that has been manufactured using ethanol at a price even below industrial alcohol. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is in an effort to safeguard all those millions of young people who are suffering through the consumption of illicit brews that are basically a consumption of a concoction of chemicals. And therefore, we were very particular, and I think the committee was very particular, to make sure that they are not controlling prices, but just to safeguard that if you are producing alcohol using ethanol, that is legal ethanol, in the right standards, then there is a certain minimum cost that you would have to bear.
I will put the question, then I'll propose, then you can do what you want to do. So I put the question that the new clause 76A be now read a second time. Will anyone of that opinion say aye? Many of the counter opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I propose the question that the new clause 76A be part of the bill. Honorable Nikal.
Yeah, I want to go on this again and again and again for the records. Look at the argument we have had. That because we want certain quality, we control the price. Now, we cannot say that if we want ethanol, and we know ethanol is expensive, we insist on the price, but that will mean that because they can't get an expensive, that one now they cannot use methanol. It doesn't work like that. If you want to look at the chemicals, look at the chemicals strictly in their way. This does not work. And Chair, let me say this. I've been saying certain things here, and probably I'm not a good politician, but I'll be proved right one day. I know you will not allow, but I'm going to say this. When you were talking about...
But I've allowed you. I've allowed you.
Chair, earlier on, when we were talking about the alcohol that is going to use for cooking, I had information that the real idea there was that people who are going to produce that and are going to produce the cooking things, because they presented to our committee. So people's head to get into our acts, business people,
Point made.
and they regulate it. So I just want to say it, that we are all elected.
Thank you.
Kenyans.
Thank you, Honorable Farah. Finally.
Chair, I haven't consumed any alcohol all my life. But frankly, my little exposure to these problems tells me that there's no difference between Johnny Walker and the one that they make out there. This country, majority leader, can you listen? This country, Chair, needs a policy on the abuse of alcohol, drugs, and miraa, and all these things. We are destroying a whole nation. We are destroying, and the political class has also converted itself into an economic class that also benefits.
Thank you.
Benefits from that.
Thank you. No, thank you. I want to put the question that the new clause 76A order members, at the point you've reached, we are not debating. The Honorable Farah will have 30 seconds to finish his point.
Chair, on the overall, Chair, even the members of parliament from the miraa growing areas and Muguka will tell you that their own children are not going to school. And this thing is devastating communities all over.
Thank you, Honorable Farah. Honorable Ndikiri, what is out of order?
A sitting order for a dignified member, senior, in the speaker's panel can come and insinuate a miraa without any evidence, scientific or otherwise, that miraa is a drug. That is an abuse of your position as a member of parliament.
Thank you. I'll put the question, members, that the new clause 76A be part of the bill. Will as one other opinion say aye? Will as one other opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Junior, what's out of order?
Chair, what is out of order? Chair, there are serious clauses that have been brought back to this bill. And some of these clauses, there was no public participation. And some of them have serious effects. Chair, I want to go on record on this. Like this clause we have just passed, there was no public participation. And it is going to affect businesses of people in a big way. You know, Mr. Chair, you can just, somebody who's doing his own business of producing alcohol will be branded as illicit, just because we've said here that it's illicit.
Thank you.
Chair, such a clause requires serious public participation.
Thank you. Order members, you know what to do. You know what Parliament does, and you know what to do after that if you disagree with the decision of Parliament. So we'll go on to the next clause. Members, I want you to go back to clause 75D. 75D.
New clause 75D.
Yes.
We skipped it, that's why.
Okay, 75B.
D.
Oh, yes. Yes, I propose that clause 17B be read a second time. And Honorable Yes, I gave a different explanation. This is where we are changing the ownership or the directorship of pension schemes that was requiring only they would be owned by at least 66% of Kenyans, and this, from public participation, we realized that was disadvantaging very many enterprises that were in the management of pensioners. So that is more of a cleanup to make sure that it is in line with what is in the practice. And C, which is what I had moved earlier, was to make sure that our pension schemes are Sharia compliant, because we have Sharia, we have a requirement for Sharia compliance in the banking sector, in the insurance sector, but this